I had to do an interview, and they wanted to get it done right now. But I'm Charles Whitehead, for your host, the Cool Veteran Show, and president of the PVA, Paralyzed Vets of America. Now I know Elizabeth Yale is back. Is she on the line right now, Joe? Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're gonna get started here, and then I'm going to go and find a different place. And myself and Martha Varela, the executive director, and Elizabeth, we're all going to be on live here. So what we're going to do is in 10 minutes, I'll go and find a different spot. This is not the way the show runs, but this is how we do. I'm out here at the Newport Beach American Legion, and this is a place where I'm working on getting a new wheelchair, and with the Veterans Relief Foundation. So I think this is something that is very needed, and we'll get these guys on the show as well. So they called at the last minute. They needed somebody to interview, and the interviews they wanted to start just before the show, and so I'm doing it. I'm making it happen. Well, what we'll do is we'll go to a break, and then I'm going to bring the information for Elizabeth and Martha, and then we will go from there. So I'm going to take a 10-minute, two-song, or not 10 minutes, but a two-song break. Joe, just play two songs, and then and I'll be in a quiet place, and we'll go from there. All right? Thank you.
Shoot-a-lip-beat-it, 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 oh-de-oh-de-oh-bom. Contradiction is the name of the game. Well, contradiction ought to be a shame. Contradiction all of the time. Contradiction blowing my mind. Say it again. Contradiction is the name of the game. Well, now contradiction, you ought to be ashamed. Good God, contradiction everywhere you turn. Well, now contradiction, will we ever learn? Listen. You say you want peace, but you start a war. And you want to be free, but you pass a new law. Everybody's equal, but you segregator. Every man is your brother, but your neighbor you hate. Let's do it again now. Contradiction is the name of the game. Well, now contradiction, you ought to be ashamed. Contradiction all of the time. Good God, contradiction blowing my mind.
You wanna be healthy, but you eat junk food. Pop pills, drink alcohol, and break all the rules. You wanna be wise and develop your mind, but you're living off gossip all of the time.
Hey, it's contradiction is the name of the game. Contradiction, you ought to be ashamed. Well, now contradiction everywhere you turn. Good God, contradiction, will we ever learn? Well, now you ought to be what you are, instead of trying to be something that you ain't. Everybody ought to show their own true colors, instead of trying to be a saint, because you ain't. And hold on, oh, don't you give up. Don't turn and walk away. If you hold on and don't give up, there'll be a brighter day. There'll be a brighter day. There will be a brighter day. Darkest hour is just before day. So hold on, don't give up. Violent storm, it won't last always. So hold on and don't give up. You got to hold on and don't give up. Don't turn and walk away. Hold on, my brothers and my sisters, 'cause I'll be a brighter day. Be a brighter day. I know there'll be a brighter day. Hold on, hold on. When you're down and down, hold on, hold on. When you need a friend, long smile is one step at a time. So hold on, don't give up. Greatest fight is within your mind. So hold on, don't give up. You gotta hold on and don't give up. Don't turn and walk away. Hold on, hold on. There'll be a brighter day. There'll be a brighter day. I know that there'll be a brighter day.
All right. All right. We are back. And I just want to make sure, Elizabeth, are you on the line?
I am.
Okay. Can you hear me well?
I can.
Okay, great. Yeah, today was kind of odd. You know, I'm over here at the Newport Beach American Legion, and they're giving away a wheelchair to a veteran today. And so they asked me to come and interview, and I've been here since 11, but they just started the interviews right before the show started, and I'm like, let me get this one in, let me get it in. And so anyway, I'm here. So I'm back, you know, but this is the part I love about not being scripted. And, you know, we do stuff from, sometimes I have to go out and do things like this. But I'm going to reintroduce Elizabeth Yale. She's, she's been a host already. And Elizabeth is coming with us, and she's going to be bringing us the business corner. And, basically she's going to be talking about helping veterans, business owners, and entrepreneurs who are interested in becoming business owners and entrepreneurs, you know. And so she's got this whole program about Rise to their next level. And I won't tell you everything. I'm going to let Elizabeth tell you what she's going to be talking about. So the business corner is going to be her segment of the show. Elizabeth, welcome back.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be back with you, and I'm honored to play a role on your show. Charles, thanks for making the space for me.
Not a problem. I'm honored to have you here. So tell us a little bit, you know. So we're just going to go right into it. You know, and the thing about Elizabeth is, you know, she's well spoken. She's a great speaker, and you know, working with her before, I know she has resources, and she's um, I just, I'm just let that. I'm just give it to you. You go ahead on. In a few minutes, Martha's going to join us, Martha Barella. But go ahead, Elizabeth. You just kind of give us a little bit of what you're going to be talking about, and what we'll do is we'll after we finish this, we'll go to a break, and then when we come back, you can start diving into the things that you want to talk about. So, you know, today's, you know, you may, your segment may be a little longer or whatever. So, but you know, you feel comfortable. I want you to feel comfortable. So I'm gonna give you the floor. Go ahead and tell us what it is that you are going to be talking about.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you. Good morning, I'll say. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you happen to be around the world. And thank you all for tuning in today as well. As he mentioned, my name is Elizabeth Yo. I'm a United States Navy veteran, certified business coach and trainer with the John Maxwell team, founder and CEO of VCI Consulting, and as Charles mentioned, your host of the new segment, The Business Corner. And really, this segment is going to be dedicated to empowering veterans, entrepreneurs, executives, and small business owners with services, support, and resources. So each month, we will embark on various leadership journeys because in business, everything rises and falls on leadership. So I'm excited to bring our September topic to you today, which is going to be all about growth. Growth is extremely critical in life, isn't it true? So we're going to dive into that for the month of September. And as I mentioned, we'll have various leadership journeys month to month for us to dive into, discuss, and of course, if you are looking or in business already, you can always reach out to me after. I'll give my information at the end of my segment, and I look forward to connecting with all of you. So thank you, Charles. I'm really excited.
Well, I am glad to have you here, and so what we're going to do is normally we won't take so many breaks, but this is kind of like I'm over here, and this is the kind of stuff that happens in real life, and this is what I like about doing an unscripted show. Now here I am, I'm gonna just tell you guys how this happened. I got here early. Early enough. They said I'll be here at 11. So we're talking, and this organization is the Veterans Relief Foundation. They just gave this veteran who doesn't have a wheelchair. Well, he has a wheelchair, but they gave him a brand new chair. To use. So it's like these people are here to help veterans who don't have that access to the VA where you can just get anything you want. And I'm one of them. So that was part of the interview process. And it's not just that everyone who comes through VRF is non-service connected or anything like that. It's just that they make things happen for people who don't have it. And that's a big deal for me because I'm part of that. And so here I am. They want to do this interview, and I'm like, I got like 6 minutes, we literally started with like 8 minutes to go, and I'm like, oh, how long is the interview? Just a few minutes. And then, of course, I can't just go in and talk about things for like 30 seconds or something like that, or 2 minutes, the guy's asking me questions. I'm like, hey, this is important too. So I said, well, the radio show will get started. Joe knows if I'm not there, he knows how to, so it worked out. The bottom line is working out. And these are the things that, these are the kind of challenges that I'm happy with. I'm good with it. Like people are like, hey man, well, you started like this is the way it happens. Sometimes it goes this way. But we're here. Here we are. We're online. I got Elizabeth with here, and then Martha will get here in a few minutes. And so anyway, now we'll do is we'll take a short break, listen to some music, and then when we come back, we're gonna have the business corner jumping on. Yo. Okay,
just
cool.
south of LA, where the people go to work and the people go to play. So many sights for you to see. You can take the family through, like the Queen Mary ship and the aquarium too. Once a year you'll see Cars racing in the streets. People come from everywhere, checking out the Grand Prix. Go to see a show, or find a place to meet. The place you wanna go, where the people wanna be is in downtown Long Beach, Southern California, USA. Downtown in Long Beach, the city by the waterfront, where they go and work and play. Downtown in Long Beach, higher in the air, you can see the skyline. You can even see the port that's busy all the time. From the shoreline, you can take off on a cruise or hang out at the beach and just enjoy the view. People seem to be out shopping everywhere. At the farmer's market, the freshest food is there. If you're going for a date or going just to see, something's always going on downtown in Long Beach. Downtown Long Beach, Southern California, USA. Downtown in Long Beach, the city by the waterfront, where the people work and play. Downtown in Long Beach, city of Long Beach, where the business people often meet. Downtown in Long Beach, there's always something going on when you get to Long Beach. Downtown in Long Beach, you might just fall in love with Long Beach. You might just fall in love with Long Beach. You might just fall in love in Long Beach. You might just fall in love in Long Beach. You might just fall in love.
All right, all right, all right. We're back now. The Cool Veteran Show. We're here on KCAA Radio, where no listener is left behind. And what we're going to go to now is the business corner with our host, Elizabeth Yale. Go ahead, Elizabeth. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Charles. And again, thank you everyone for tuning in with us today. Just to recap, my name is Elizabeth Yo. I am here as your host of the Business Corner. And again, this segment of the show is dedicated to empowering veterans, entrepreneurs, executives, and small business owners with services, support, and resources. And each month, we will embark on various leadership journeys because in business, again, everything rises and falls on leadership. So our topic for September, again, is growth. And we all know growth is critical in life. But even in order to become better human beings, we need to grow in character. In order to advance our careers, we must grow our skills. In order to be a better spouse or parent, we need to grow in our relationships. In order to reach our financial goals, we need to grow in our knowledge about how money works. And even in order to enrich our soul, we need to grow spiritually. So the question is, do you have a plan for your personal growth? Because most people never really consider this. Most people, when they start out, are very intentional about working and reaching goals and being successful. Their strategy is working hard, but working hard does not guarantee success. And it is this misconception that creates gaps that keep us from growing personally and even professionally. So we are going to look at 8 common assumptions that keep us from growing. And for the sake of time, we will cover 4 of those common assumptions in today's segment and conclude with the remaining 4 in our next segment. So mark your calendars. So let's begin with the first assumption, the assumption gap. Now, we all know that when we are children, our bodies grow automatically. And for many people, they carry that same assumption into adulthood. But we don't improve simply by living, right? We have to take complete ownership of the growth process because the fact is nobody else will do it for you. Second is the knowledge gap. So many people learn only from the school of hard knocks, but the reality is those lessons are very random and very difficult. So it is much better to plan our growth intentionally. Third is the timing gap. So the longer we wait to do something we should do now, the greater the odds are that we will never actually do it. Procrastination, or falling into what many of call analysis paralysis, is no good on your growth journey. And then fourth is the mistake gap. Growing is a very messy business. It means admitting we don't have all the answers, but if we are to grow, we must get over the fear of making mistakes. A mistake is simply another way of doing things. And to quote the famed artist Bob Ross, there are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. So I do encourage you to become intentional about growing and expect to make mistakes every single day, but welcome them as a sign that you are actually moving in the right direction. Growth takes action, not inaction. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. So I'd love for you to send me a message on Instagram at VetChairs. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or join me live on the Clubhouse app weekdays, 5 to 6 a.m. California time in the Faith and Leadership House. We are business professionals on a global scale that come together during the weekdays to share, learn, and grow with one another. And I definitely invite you to join us. So if you need guidance, if you are in need of resources or support for your business, or if you are thinking about becoming a business owner, I can help. I provide consulting services, coaching, mentorship, and leadership programs. So I would love to set up a meet and greet either in person if you happen to be in Los Angeles or the surrounding areas, or on Zoom. You can visit my website at VeteranCharitiesInitiative.com and just select meet and greet from the menu to schedule a time. So until next time, keep growing, and I will meet you back here on the Business Corner. Back to you, Charles.
All right, hey, you're making me grow a little bit now. I'm like, growth can be messy, but it's kind of like they say, hey, how can you be successful unless you make mistakes, and that's part of the whole growing process. What do they call it? Growing pains, things like that, So, that's the way life works. That's the way business works, because I've never seen anybody who has a business that starts off perfect and continues to be that way forever, even as you grow. So, there are growing pains, and the bottom line is, like you say, you need to grow. How long have you been just putting through, working with this the business corner, the whole RISE thing, Elizabeth?
It's been, this year makes 5 years. When COVID happened, I really do cherish that time. I know it wasn't the best time, let's say, on a healthcare level, right? However, that downtime, people really do have two choices. You could either make use of that time or waste that time. And I thought to myself, wow, I absolutely have time now to grow. And what direction, what areas do I want to grow in? How can I continue to be a servant leader and a supporter of those who are in business, looking to become business owners? Because being a small business owner, being an entrepreneur, or taking that leap from leaving your 9-to-5 to becoming your own, a self-employed, I should say, is not an easy one. And it doesn't happen overnight with the success. I think another misconception in the business world is, I'll just quit my job and I'll instantly, make a lot of money and everyone will support me. And that is just not true. So I really took the time to kind of do a lot of self-reflection and thought, what is missing in the business sector? What is missing for veteran business owners? What kind of resources and support are we really in need of that we don't have, that we don't talk about? And so I came to the conclusion that, leadership, as I mentioned, as John Maxwell has always said, everything rises on and falls on leadership. So the best thing that we can do as leaders or emerging leaders, as our next generations are coming up behind us, is to continually look to develop personally. We must grow in all aspects. And that list I shared earlier, growth is necessary for us in character, with our skills, in our relationships, with our money and how we manage our money. Some people think, okay, you can still put your money in a coffee can to save it, but you're not really getting any compound interest off that. So we want to grow our knowledge, in these different areas that affect our lives and the lives around us. So I was really motivated to kind of, come on the scene with this leadership conversation, because you just don't see it being taught in schools, K through 12 especially, and it's not something that you hear around the table necessarily in conversation. So that's really what my motivation was, and honestly, it's been a blessing to be able to meet and help, emerging business owners and entrepreneurs and veterans who are looking to start their own business.
It's funny that that you bring up this topic, growth. I went to I sit on the board of directors for a credit union, and they had a credit union convention in Las Vegas 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the reason I chose to go to that credit union convention is because, I've been on the board for a little bit more than a year, but for me, it's a leadership conference which involves credit unions and money and things like that. So, when I told the board, I said, yeah, this is the one I want to go to. It wasn't about Las Vegas at all, believe me. It was about that. It was a leadership conference, and I really, 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 I got a lot of great things that for me, it was like, I learned a lot going to this conference, a whole lot about banking, the whole banking industry, and you know who the keynote speaker was? Joe Theismann, the football player. And
oh wow!
Yes, Joe Theismann was the keynote speaker, and he talked about how he thought he had everything in life and all of these things like that. He thought his life was set, and then he had that terrible injury on the football field. I remember when it happened. I was watching that game, and it was very bad looking, And so he said that changed his life, and so his bottom line message was like, you have to be prepared for certain things because you think you have it all, and it can be just from that point, boom, things change for you, and you have to really be prepared, and that's what leadership is about. Be prepared to take the good with the bad, the bad with the good. Things are going to happen. It's not going to be all rainy day, but it's not going to be all sunshiny either, but you have to be prepared for both. And like you said, things don't just, you can't just go and quit your job and expect, I'm going to start a business and it's just going to have, everything's going to be all right. No, there are things that happen. I mean, I've seen it, you've seen it, everyone's seen things happen where you think, oh yeah, I'm looking good, I'm doing good, and then bam, something happens, whether it's a natural disaster, whether it's a health issue, whether it's an employee or somebody's family, something happens to a family member, and you have to, all of a sudden, you're tasked to try to take care of someone. So growth in that aspect is you need to learn. I'm getting at is what you say. Growth is important, and it's not just your life. It's not just your business. It's not just you. It's the people that are around you. It's what you do, and and there's a whole lot of growing for people to learn. And so with that credit union thing, it was great for me. I actually have I recorded all the sessions I went through, and a lot of that stuff was about AI now too. The banks are starting to incorporate this stuff because that is growth. Yeah, there's nefarious things that go on with anything you do, but you have to learn. What do they call it? You have to learn to change with the times. You can't just stick your money in the shoebox that's or under the mattress or whatever, things like that. So you really have to grow and change your way of thinking. So I mean, this was perfect for me, and the people that are listening, just know, and Elizabeth is she's growing, I like that.
Thank you. It's so critical. And, a lot of times I've seen it. I've been working in accounting for 20 plus years now. And in the financial industry especially, you see a lot of people who don't put that primary focus on personal and professional growth. Personal growth is the key. And I heard from a stock trader who's very successful, but still has his 9 to 5 as a fireman because he loves what he does. And he said it to us in a presentation. People don't evaluate full circle. You look at your finances only, but what about your relationships? Because relationships are one thing that's not really reviewed year to year. Sometimes that can affect your growth. So if you're trying to grow, right, professionally, personally, grow your business, grow your client list, what have you, it really matters the circle of friends or colleagues or associations that you have that can make a tremendous impact either positively or negatively in your efforts, right? And I heard him say that, that's a part of the evaluation every year. Usually the new year comes right after the holidays and people have all their resolutions about I'm going to work out, I have a goal weight gained or lost, I have a goal for my vacation, I want to buy a new house or car. But how often are we really reevaluating our relationships? And it doesn't have to be bad relationships, but what if they're time-consuming relationships? You ever have a friend that you get on the phone and you're on there for like 3 hours and you don't even know what you talked about? So, you're not really getting much done during that 3 hours, and that can really, inch into your accomplishments, accomplishing your goals and setting up for your growth time, right? So just reevaluating our relationships is also a part of that critical growth process, because a lot of times people drag, toxic or time-consuming relationships into every new year that comes, and they're kind of still stagnating around and not realizing why. So you don't have to end your relationships. I'm not saying that by any means, but sometimes you need to reevaluate how much time you're giving to them, right? So that's also a part of the growth. That's the discovery process and growth as well. And we have to take a look at that and include that as a part of our evaluation. So that's why my program RISE really focuses on resilience, innovation, sustainability, and most importantly, evaluation, because a lot of people plan, but they never really go back and evaluate and reevaluate, right? Because we're always supposed to be ever improving. So, yeah, I love your thoughts on this topic, Charles. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, it's like, even the simplest thing, like planting a flower or growing vegetables in a garden. You can't just put the seeds in and just assume that thing's going to grow. No, you got to go. If you don't water it, then they don't grow, and then they may grow, but then you got weeds in there, you got bugs, you got all of these things to hold you down and hold you back. And it's like life, your health makes a difference. Like you say, who you surround yourself around with, the people that you hang out with, because some people can take you down, and misery loves company. And so if you don't, if you're not sharp to the mind, you have to be aware that these things are going to happen. And for me in life, and I can tell you, and I don't know if I said this before, I have many times. In my life, I've been in 9 different hospitals, and some of them more than once and multiple times for different things. But at the end of the day, you know what I am? I'm blessed to be here, and I'm happy. And I can tell you right now, if I didn't live another day, my life is great. And you know why? Because I enjoy life, and I enjoy doing for people, and I enjoy doing with people. And so for me, it's like, okay, hey, I've grown to be this person, from who I was as a youngster, and back then I didn't know. And, it's like I'm always telling, these Gen Zs, they talk to them. I said, oh, you just older. I said, you know what? I said, with which age comes wisdom. I say, and you don't know right now because you're still wet behind the ears. So there are all kinds of ways to look at this, and this is a great topic. Here we are. I'm over here sitting in Newport Beach over at the pier. Dealing with veterans and all of this, but I'm in my car right now. I'm in my rolling studio. And this is it.
I love it.
Rolling studio, rolling man studio, So, and I'm like, okay, I'll do this. And then when I'm done at the end of the show, I'll go back out. It doesn't look like Martha's going to join us because she was getting ready for her interview. And, these people are this is a great place to be. And I got to give it up to the fellas over here, Bobby and the crew. We come over here for the Newport Beach boat show, the parade. So we come over here and they have food or they do things, and we're watching all the people that fix their boats up. So, and we come here and they have paddle boarding now. Now I can tell you, I grew about that too last year. I went paddle boarding, and I thought my shoulders would be bothering me. Oh no, for a week I could barely move. My neck, my back, and everything was like stiff because I was using muscles that I wasn't using before. I could barely move. And so I've grown about that, and I told them I'm not doing it today, that's for sure. But we're going to go to a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll tie it up and we'll finish it out. That's the Cool Veteran Show. We're going to change the name. We're going to go from the Cool Veteran Show to the Cool Veteran Hour. And I'm your host, Charles Whitehead, and along with Elizabeth Yao, and we'll be back in a few minutes. We'll see you then.
Allow us to tell you it's plain, it's simple. Rosie, we want to say thanks. With an American spirit, we want you to hear it. In unity, we want to say thanks. Now you've got a brave heart, serve with a good start, and you have a riveting smile. You serve DC, west of Kentucky, all across America. Now we're lucky you give home with your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, with your riveting smile. Thank you, summer and winter, for helping to win freedom's fight. It's most elevated, not complicated. Thank you, Rosie, with your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, with your riveting smile. West of Kentucky, all across America. Now we're lucky you came home with a riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, for your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, for your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, for your riveting smile. Thank you, Rosie, with 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 your riveting smile.
All right. That was the American Rosie Movement song that we, per se, wrote a little version for. And I appreciate the American Rosie Movement because they, again, they were doing things way back in World War II. And to have these ladies, they're like 98 and 100 years old coming on the programs that we were on before. with Operation Confidence, and it was great, and so I've been working with them, and recently I got an award with the American Rosie Movement, and I enjoy working with them. I'm on their board too. But anyways, we're back here, and Elizabeth. So tell us what it is that that you, and I'm just gonna create some to catch you off guard. Tell us what's the most important thing that when it comes to business that your number one rules, or kind of like that you have to go through. Your quote or whatever it is that keeps you focused.
I love this statement, keep it real. That is really critical, really, really critical for business leaders, for all of us, honestly.
What was that again? Can you say that again?
Yes, keep it real. That's the most important thing. That's my go-to. And that acronym is broken down into 4 categories for me. The first R is prioritizing our relationships, because leadership is a relationship-intensive endeavor, right? If our people skills are not strong, neither will our leadership be. And then next for me is equipping others for success. This is, for me, really the most important thing, I think, and I always say this in my Faith in Leadership fellowship, that being a servant leader is really different than any other style of leadership. I've worked, and you have too, Charles, in the military, outside the military, under leaders who really are not service intensive. A lot of leaders lead from their titles. They want to be served. They're not interested in serving. But what I've seen and what I've responded to most is leaders who are all about serving the people, their teams, their clients, their customers, or their demographics. And they just lead in a very different way, a more positive, uplifting way, and they tend to be more so on the side of empowering others instead of managing them. And that's a big difference, in terms of how you look at equipping others for success. So, you want your team members to rise, and the most successful organizations never have just one leader, but many strong leaders who are actually working together. And then it's all about attitude as well for me. Attitude impacts performance every time, all the time, right? And it's really critical to be able to identify attitude problems that may undermine your efforts or your team's efforts. And, you want to be able to quickly change those things. So awareness is the key. And I love what you said. We have to take responsibility, be adaptable, be flexible, right? Because we have to be ever adjusting to things that might come up or are going on. And then last is continuous leadership growth and development. Honestly, this is my go-to. This is what I do every single day. At least one part of your day, every day, should be in some type of personal development, because becoming a leader is like investing in the stock market. If you hope to make a fortune in one day, you're not going to be successful in the stock market, right? Continuous investing is how it works. And you continuously invest in your leadership growth, and these become your assets, and the result is compound interest over time, right? You become better and better and better. So keeping it real, REAL, for me, that is the way.
Oh, that's nice. That's the way. That's a great way. For me, it's just that I tend to don't let things bother me that I have no control over, and it's easier said than done. But the main part of me is I don't have you won't see me go and get mad and blow up or anything. I've known people for years. They say, "Man, I ain't never seen you have just a what do you call it, a blow up or whatever." I said, I don't deal like that. I said, look, for me, Charles Whitehead, the person, I'm blessed to be here. I could have been gone 1982, 1987, 2019. These are little periods of time that that my life was really on the brink. I was on the brink of leaving, and but the bottom line is God's plan is hey, I'm still here, and so what that has done for me is helped me grow to be a better listener, a better even though I'm the president of the Paralyzed Vets of America, I don't treat it as though like it's a powerful thing. Like you say, some people are that way. I'm like, I look at people as my level. It doesn't matter who you are. I may be the one that's in charge, but I don't talk to anybody. I never talk to anybody. I don't talk down to anyone, and leadership matters. And so if you're not a good leader, you start getting revoked and people push back on you. Unfortunately, it happens a lot. And I don't want to be that part. I'm not going to be that part. If there's something that I feel is going on in the organization that then I'll bring it up. Instead of figure it out on your own or anything like that. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but at the same time, I can tell you, I'm intelligent enough to know what's going on around me, and sometimes common sense doesn't happen with business leaders, and it's unfortunate, but it happens, and so I get it.
It's so true. It's so true, Charles. And I really admire that quality in you, always staying calm, always. And what you touched on is, gratitude. Just have an attitude of gratitude. You wake up, you're healthy. You wake up, you have your senses about you. I think having your sanity is a blessing in and of itself every day. So, I really appreciate you speaking to that. Just be grateful, and think about all the things and that God has done, all the things that He's brought us through, all the things that He has planned for us. I love that scripture, Jeremiah 29:11. It says, God knows the plans. I know the plans I have for you. So we can really take trust and hold on to that. So I really appreciate that. I'm going to try to stay grateful. I'm so grateful to be a part of this show again, and just so grateful to you, Charles, for all that you do. The Paralyzed Veterans of America. It's an amazing experience to just share this moment with you.
As well, that goes for you too. And the bottom line is, we're not your typical show where people get in and talk about PTSD, and they got plenty of shows for that. With this, our format is, we talk about veterans, people with disabilities, music, and the sporting events and things that we do at the PVA. Now we got a few things coming up, like the American Heart Walk. American Heart Association, their Heart Walk is going to be on, I believe, September the 20th. And so we want to make sure people give us a call if you want to know more information. You can reach us at info@pvacc.org. That's info@PV, as in veterans, Paralyzed Veterans of America, California chapter. So info@pvacc.org, or give us a call at 562-826-5713. Again, that's 562-826-5713. And, if you need more information, we'll tell you about all these events that are coming up. And we're going to start throwing a lot of events. We'll have a pickleball tournament. We're looking to host a billiards tournament. We have our fishing yearly. We go fishing twice a year. Things like this. These things are all still coming up for the year, and it's all good. If you are a veteran or not, give us a call, because there are a whole bunch of events going on that include people with disabilities and people who are veterans. So there's a bunch of things. Some of them don't require you to be a veteran. Some of them don't require you to be to have a service connection or anything like that. So we just want to say, hey, this is what we do here at the show. We are the Cool Veteran Show right now, but we're going to change that name, and we're going to go to the Cool Veteran Hour. And we're really pretty close to winding it down. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say thank you, Elizabeth. You got Elizabeth Yao, our business corner hostess. It's great to have you back. I'm glad things are working out for you. And we definitely look to see you, everyone. We want to see you in 2 weeks. And remember, this is KCAA Radio. And we want to give big props to Joe, our engineer. You know, he's the one that's making this thing happen. You know, he's like, you don't have to say anything, but that's okay. I'm saying it anyway because without you, we couldn't do what we do. And so KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. They're on AM 1050 and FM 106.5 if you can get in the area, but you can find them on all of the social media, you know, KCAA Radio. And so we're going to start providing links for all the shows that have been going, and from this forward, you'll start being able to get every show. We'll have it on our own page. So with all of that said and done, Elizabeth, you want to say goodbye to the listening audience, and then we'll Joe just play the theme song for the show, cool, and then we're gonna be out of here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Charles, and thank you, Joe, for always producing such a great show. Really appreciate you and your help all the time. And I'm so thankful to all of the listeners, you know, wherever you happen to be around the world. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that today's show has been helpful to you, bless you, and so that you can be a blessing to others as well. So we look forward to gathering back here together. I look forward to meeting you back on the Business Corner. And again, as always, love you so much, Charles. Appreciate being here with you today. And I'm looking forward to all that is going to take place throughout this coming, the end of the year. We're almost in the holiday times now. So it's amazing how fast the year goes by, right?
Yes. So, and I'll just put a period on that and say, amen to everything that you just said, and thank you all. We are out of here. We'll see you in 2 weeks, or we'll hear you in 2 weeks, or you'll hear us.
Have a great weekend, everybody.